Arr!
What's up, nerds? We're Never Board Gaming, and we're taking a look at Treasure Island, obviously. This is an incredibly unique game where you're actually like writing on the board and you have your personal player. Everything here is like dry erase and you can write all over it. It's pretty crazy to wrap your head around.
It's the closest other type of game that I can relate this to is like a hidden movement game. So like Letters from Whitechapel or Spectre Ops or Scotland Yard or whatever. This is by far my favorite because ultimately it isn't a hidden movement. It's a hidden object. I hid some... I say I. I always play as Long John Silver or Black Gary Ross. Blue Beard Silver. That guy. I always play as him because I go and hide the treasure and everybody else is trying to find him. And I give little clues as the game goes on. I'll say, it's north of this place, closer to that place. But the really interesting part of this is, one, as you're looking for it, you're making marks on the map. Right? So it's not just something you remember. You can make marks on your little map, but like if a red player moves over here to search here, like that's information everybody knows and it stays on there for forever. Like that's really, really clever because they're actually drawing. But the other thing that I think is also super duper clever about this is the clues that I give, some of them may or may not be false. And that is my absolute favorite part about this game.
One thing that also makes this different from other hidden movement games is it's all of us versus him, but we're all separate as well. It's not like 4 versus 1. It's 1 versus Tom, another person versus Tom. We're all like, trying to be the first one to find the treasure, but we're all kind of giving each other clues, but we don't really want to. It's just the nature of the game with drawing out on the board and like, okay, I'm searching here, and he goes, no, you didn't find it. Well, everybody just got a lot of information knowing, I'm not going to go search that spot.
There's also a little bit, because like there are ways that Tom was talking about how like the clues he gives could be true or they could be false, and that's he has a certain amount during the game of clues that he can, I think it's 2, right?
Well, the very first one is always true, but I gain a question mark, and then halfway through I gain a second one.
So those question marks he can put on a clue to say, this could be true, it could be false, so he could just give all accurate information, but there's ways I can go and find out whether or not that one is the question mark. I still don't know if it's true or false.
The question mark's face down.
I just find out if that's the one that could be false, and then depending on how I respond to that information, could also give information. So there are some times where I look and be like, oh, okay, now I know that this could be a thing, but do I immediately go and search there? Because that then tells everyone else, oh, he just found something that tells him that. Or do I find out that could be false and then go search there so that they all think, oh, he found something, and they all rush over here just in time for me to rush over there and search where the treasure actually is.
Another thing that I really think is super cool is a lot of the clues are formulated in such a way that sometimes they're almost better for some people than others. They're cool in a way that there's a lot of like pick a miniature and say if it's closest or within a certain distance, or pick 2 and say one of them is within 5, but you don't say which, or one that says like, hey, within the past 2 turns, this miniature walked the closest or moved away from it. And it's cool because it's like player based. So it's like, oh wait, I was right there and I didn't know. That type of thing is really clever.
I can say it gets a little clunky with drawing on the board because, one, at the end of the game with a lot of players, there's so much written on the board that it can be really hard to like figure out what's what, and because it's dry erase, like it can get smudged, and some of the color markers they chose
green and blue
don't necessarily, like if the green player goes through the woods and you're like, okay, is that like it's not obvious that there's a green line through those woods.
Yeah.
And there is this other side of the board.
It's a little muted.
It's muted a little bit more. So it shows up a little bit better. That's the thing. It's still not perfect.
Yeah.
And it's pretty ugly. Like I played with this once and I was like, that really doesn't help that much. I would just play with the prettier side and just deal with it. You're dealing with it either way, really,
Yeah. So it's a cool game. I'm not knocking the game at all. But that's just an aspect of it that, like, I don't know how easy it would be to fix. Because, again, like, every player needs their own colors. You can track where certain people went because of how the clues can affect certain people. But it just... I don't know how to fix it. It's just something that I think needs to be fixed somehow.
Every hero or
None of us
Pirates.
are heroes.
Pirates.
We're all bad people.
we all get asymmetrical abilities. They're usually one-off abilities. They come with a little card. You check off if you do it.
Some of them are static.
Yeah, there's like some have a couple static, but most of them.
There are always some that are check off.
But even the static is asymmetrical. Like
Right, yeah.
so. But yeah, and then there are a couple like looking at this token here to see if it's truth or the question mark is like you check it off to be like, okay, I've used this. This is public information. People know if you've already used it. They know if you've used the compass to find out if you're going in the right direction. Those are really helpful. And there's one guy, which one was it? What color is it? That he gets to, when he does a search, he searches on the outside of the,
I think that's this guy.
is it the green
See
guy?
the little symbol? Infinite? Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he can search on the outside. So when he does a big search, it's like he gets a little bit more searching done. And it's like just a minor little thing that makes every character, doesn't feel too unique, but it's
This
unique
guy
enough.
was the best. Whenever he moves 6, he can move 6 twice.
Yeah.
So he can move like crazy.
And Aaron talked about the little thing you're drawing circles around. That's one of the things that makes this game cool. It's not just drawing on the board, but you have all of these pieces, and you feel like you're actually navigating a map because you put your compass there, and like you turn it, and you draw lines, and that's just crazy cool. And you're searching, and you actually put these discs on the board and draw circles in them.
Yeah, this.
That's the mini compass
that's the
that goes
mini
in your
one.
mini
And
map.
I do like that they included mini versions of everything, though, so you can check stuff on your map.
Because some information you get isn't public, and so you want to mark it on your little miniature map so that not everyone has, like, you're not like drawing out here and you can remember it, but it's not out there for everyone to
Yeah,
see.
it's like there's the big ruler and a tiny ruler made to scale to match the maps. It's so cool.
Every player does get a district thing at the very beginning that tells them what district
The treasure is
the
not.
treasure isn't, but that's different per player. And that's information that's not on the board, but it's also information that Long John Silver needs to remember. Because if I tell you it's not here, and I tell you it's not there, and I tell you it's not there, and then I start trying to trick people with this stuff here, and I say something contradictory, they're not. I want them to waste, looking to see if this is the question mark or not. But if I give them contradictory information, I was lying, and they're like, oh, well, I just know that. But boom. First of all, I'm unknowingly giving a player an advantage, but also, it's just they're not getting that full. The mystery of, ooh, is that true? Is that lie? Should I follow this riddle? Should I? There's a rumor the treasure's over here.
So I've never gotten to play as the Long John Silver because Tom's
never
always
will.
like, it's me. I'm doing it. It's all I'm going to do. I love this game only from this side of the board. Do you feel like playing as that you like kind of king make certain players and you're like, I'm gonna give this person a little bit extra information?
No. Well, I mean, unless it was like
With this,
yeah, that's true. So you do have to. There's certain cards that I can play that don't give a lot of information. But I can only play those if I had given somebody a token, and those tokens are special abilities. And you're supposed to put it in this little thing and then close it, and then hand it to the player. And you also do that if they found the treasure. So it's like a small amount of tension of, ooh, did they find the treasure? No,
yeah.
It's dumb.
Like that was one thing when we were playing. I was like, oh, I wish you gave a token every turn. Like if somebody searched, you just give them a token, whether it's like a blank token. It gives them a little information, or it is the treasure.
That could get like redundant though. Like if someone's searching every single turn, you're like, oh my, put it back in the box, hand it over here. It's nothing. Oh, okay. let's
Yeah,
move on.
but at least you don't look like you're just handing some people the box and not others.
This was like a little attempt at theater that, I don't know, use it or don't, really. It's insignificant. But what he was saying about, I do try to be, even to every single player, unless somebody's clearly having a really, really rough time. That's not, that notwithstanding, you, as Long John Silver, you're more of a dungeon master than you are another player at the board. Sure, maybe you want to win. It's probably really hard to win. By the time you're escaping, there's so much information on the board. It's really hard for you to get there and them still not know where it is. Unless you're just being a jerk. And I really like how the rule book is really clear about, if you think it maybe, it does. I was even, the very, very first game, I was like, if it's within like an inch or something, or half an inch maybe, I'll just give it to you because, we should just be having fun instead of you guys scratching your brain because you were a millimeter off.
Especially if it's like on the very edge of the board, like it's right here and they get right here,
Yeah, it's, again, we all just want to have fun in this game. The winning and losing, it doesn't feel like, oh, I outsmarted you, yay. It's more just like, hey, I got it, okay. You know, it's one of those games.
You know.
It's lighter.
Because they're easy even like, all right, I know exactly where on the board it is. I know it's like in this section and it's either here or here. And I chose to go search here and you chose to go search here and you found it. I still feel a little bit like I knew where it was. I happened to not be close enough. Or I happened to, it was one of these two and I picked left and you picked right and it happened to be right. And it's a game where that didn't bother me, because that can bother me in some games. Like we were playing the Yeti game, we were climbing the mountain.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
3 to pick from.
Dicey Peaks.
Dicey Peaks. It bothered me that like I got there first, but I picked wrong, and then Aaron got there second, and he picked right. I was like, that I feel cheated out of it. But because this game is less of a race and more of just like trying to find the information, I really didn't mind it, because again, it's more of solving the puzzle than just beating the puzzle.
I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a unique take on the kind of hidden movement genre of games. It's definitely more family weight because of the fact that, you have one person running the game, the other players are searching for the treasure, and like Tom said, if you're, you can put the treasure where when they find it, like, oh, if they are off by a little bit, just give it to them. I mean, you could be a little more lenient towards the younger kids too, even. Like, oh, they made a silly choice of searching here when they could have searched here and then right next to it. Because, like, there's some, like, when you're strategizing where to search, you might want to do, like, a little search here and then the big search here, so that it kind of fills in the entire stretch of the map, instead of, like, I'm just going to search one big time here in the middle. Oh, crap, well, now there's a half inch on both sides that I need to search, and, like, it's kind of a waste of searching. So that's just a strategy thing where younger kids might not get that. And you might just be like, yeah, you're close enough, you get it.
This was one of my favorite games that came out in 2018. It was, I put it at my number 10 favorite game of 2018. It's just mostly because it's really unique. It's that hidden movement, but it's not hidden movement. It's, we're drawing on the board. This thing that feels like so much fun when you're drawing. I ruined it. Yeah. But it's just fun. It's not going to be for everybody. Like Aaron said, it is a lot good for families. Real serious gamers, heavy Euro gamers, they might, kind of scoff at this. And sure, that's fine. Not for everybody. Totally understandable. But if you have any amount of that child inside you, that just wants to search for treasure, it's a really fun assuming that you have me being Long John Beard, okay? Because if you have somebody, honestly, if you have somebody being a jerk playing Long John Beard face, he doesn't have a beard, you're not going to have a good time. Again, this is more of a dungeon master than everybody else, but if you have a good player here running the game, everybody is going to have a real good time.
I'm probably at like the least liking it of our group. I still thought it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. The best thing going for it, I think, is the uniqueness of it, where you're actually drawing on the board. The board is like dry erase. Like, you don't see that a lot. Like, you see dry erase markers in games, but in a game this scale, that's something that I've never seen before. And I thought that was really cool and innovative and exciting. Like I said, it gets a little clunky with where the lines are on the board. And at the end of the day, it is more about having fun than winning, which is a good thing, but it's also a little bit of a negative for me, because sometimes I just want to, like, go hard in the paint and, like, beat people. So I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm definitely happy to play it every time, but it's not going to be my first choice to pick off the shelf, because I want something maybe a little bit more competitive and less just, like, free-spirited, let's go on an adventure.
Are you a race car driver now? Go hard in the paint?
That's a basketball term.
Oh, it sounds like a race car thing.
I thought it was a painting.
It's a painter?
Yeah.
Just painting.
Well, if any of what we were talking about sounds interesting to you guys, we're going to have a purchase link in the description box down below. Go get yourself a copy.
While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.